We're looking at question 40 on the AP Statistics Midterm Review packet, and we're told to use scenario 3.6. Now, I'm not going to read the scenario, but I am going to look at the information given to us on the left side, which is we're given our R value, we're given the mean of X and the mean of Y, and we're also given the standard deviation of X and Y. Now, the reason why this is important is because we're not given any observations at all. This problem is dealing with the least squares regression line. Problem 40 says find the y-intercept of that LSRL. So if I'm dealing with that, usually I input my data in L1, L2, and have the calculator do it for me. I don't have the data, but I am given summary statistics. Now, these type of problems are forgotten the most by students because we're so used to the calculator. But we have formulas on our formula sheet that can help us with this. As you can see over on the left-hand side, we have our predicted equation, but we also have another formula. We have y bar equals a plus b times x bar. So do you notice how x bar, y bar are in that equation? And I was given x bar, y bar. We also have the equation b is found, our slope is found by taking r times the standard deviation of y over the standard deviation of x. Now, if I kind of outline over to the side what I'm given, and I look at those formulas, something stands out to me. If I look at this, I can see I have enough information to plug directly into that formula, b equals r times s of y over s of x. I have s of y, I have s of x, I have r. I could plug it in and find b. You know, Mr. Ainsworth, why didn't you choose y bar equals a plus b times x bar? And that's a good equation. It is a good equation because I'm trying to find a. I mean, that's what you see right there. I want to find a, and that equation has a in it. So why am I not starting there? Is because I need to know b in order to use that equation, and I don't know b. So that bottom equation will allow me to find b, and then I can use that to find a, like the question is asking me to do, my y-intercept. So even though it's asking me to find a, I have to first find b, and that's why it's important to understand your formulas. So I'm going to plug in everything. If I plug in everything, I'm going to get 0.9, that is my r, given to us right up here, check. My standard deviation of my y, which is 1.2, my standard deviation of my x, which is 3.6. So in that case, b equals 0.3. Now, I didn't go through and do any of the trick answers on this one because it's just a lot of calculations, but I would be aware maybe one of these options is based off of flipping the standard deviations. So remember, the formula does say take s of y divided by s of x. Maybe one of the choices up above is what if they did s of x divided by s of y. So that is one way of doing it. But once I get b equals 0.3, I'm going to plug that in and I'm going to find a in this equation because now I know y bar, x bar, and b. That's enough to find a. Now, if I were writing this question, I would also make one of the choices up above 0.3 in case a student accidentally confuses the y-intercepts, but that's just me being tricky. So if I plug everything into that equation, my y bar is 6.6. I don't know a. I now have my b value of 0.3, and I have 6.5 as my x bar. I can plug everything in. I get 4.65 as my a value, which means my answer is going to be C. So this is a really good one because these formulas are ones that most students tend to forget. And they're one of the ones that are actually not hard to use. So in other words, bottom line is this. If you're given numerical observations, data, L1, L2, plug them in, let your calculator do it for you. If you're not given numerical data like that or observations, you are going to be given summary statistics for your least squares regression line, which means you use those formulas to find it. So hopefully this helps you with question 40.